Welcome to the Office Latte podcast, where we go beyond the boardroom to explore new conversations on life and career. I'm Erin Kennedy, CEO of Professional Resume Services and wife, mother, sister, daughter, aunt, and friend. Now, let's dive in. Hello, Summer.
Good morning, Erin. How's it going?
Good afternoon.
True. To who, or good evening to anyone else listening.
I know, right? It's weird with your, it's morning for you and it's pretty much afternoon for me. But anyways, I am fabulous. So I have a random question for you. I'm just gonna jump in and see what you think. When you think of me, and my brand.
Okay.
No pressure.
Sorry, I'm laughing.
No pressure.
I know. I'm like, okay.
Only good things. No, I'm kidding. So when you think of me, if someone said to you, "What do you know about Erin Kennedy?" What would you say?
Wow, what a great question. I would answer it like a pageant queen and say, "Thank you so much for asking me. What a great question." Erin Kennedy, and then I would probably say like something like world-renowned resume writer and founder of Professional Resume Services, extraordinaire, mother, friend, boss, No, I think I would say she's a resume writer and founder, business owner. She has a long career in the career and resume industry.
You just grabbing for words?
No,
You just grabbing out in the air.
I'm like, I was like, what is it called? Like, and then I was like, the career industry.
Do you know why I'm asking? I'm asking because our next guest, Melissa Cohen, she is a personal branding expert. So, in preparation
Maybe
for
I guess I need this.
in preparation for a chat with her today, that's when I was thinking I'd throw this at Summer and see what she thought. But really, it made me think like, what is my brand? Which I mean, I know what my brand is now, but I'll tell you, for years, I really couldn't pinpoint. I didn't even really know what it was. You too. Yeah. Yeah. Right. I mean, it's so many people don't understand brands. So she's a personal branding expert and, she's really a huge LinkedIn advocate too. So we're going to talk about a lot of that, but I know you had said, before we were talking, you were talking about, I've just been reading about this. So
yeah, I feel like when it comes to like personal branding, I can brand brands all day long. I mean, that's what I do for a living.
Right.
And I love that kind of stuff. And a lot of people say this. I don't know if you feel about like this. I guess it's unique for your career, but like for me, it's much harder. I can brand other people and help other people and just give like guidance on personal branding or thought leadership, but mainly I work with brands. However, when it comes to myself, I feel like my brain has like a filter over it because it's myself. And I know a lot of other like marketers feel that way where it's like hard to market to yourself.
Yes.
But yeah, I also think too, like I'm in that phase of my life where I want to be trying a lot of different things just to learn and be creative and have fun and just get myself out there. Right. So then when you're in all these different lanes, it's like, well, then what is my lane?
Right. So that's what Melissa is going to talk with us about today. How to get in your lane, how to figure it out. Let me read her bio.
Okay.
She is a LinkedIn and personal branding expert. This is Melissa Cohen. Melissa Beth Cohen. She's a LinkedIn and personal branding strategist who helps executives, founders, and business owners elevate their visibility, credibility, and impact through authentic digital presence and content that drives connection. And then we'll maybe hit on this because I'm going to ask her some of her early career stuff because it's interesting. So I'm not going to talk about it here because I want to wait and ask her about it when we talk.
I feel like everyone we have on always has like an interesting backstory into how they got into things. That's like sometimes my favorite part of the whole interview. So I'm really excited.
Anyways, you ready to dive in?
Yeah, let's jump in.
Okay. Hi, Melissa. Welcome to the Office Latte podcast.
Hello, Erin. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
So am I. I'm so glad that we met, kind of unfortunate circumstances, both being, scammed on LinkedIn. But the good thing is it, let me meet you. I mean, I think we were following each other maybe, but, it's just nicer to actually talk and meet, which we got to through Jay Jones. So that was good. So Summer and I were talking about you a little bit before the podcast and kind of going into what you do, personal branding and LinkedIn. And we were just, you know, I did put Summer on the spot and I said, what do you think of me? What is, as far as, your brand? I mean, really, because that's very telling if somebody
Yeah.
understands your brand or not. But
Yes.
before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about bef- how you got started in this. So I know you held leadership roles in the fashion industry. Tell me about that. I mean, fashion to careers. I need to hear all of that.
Yeah, I'm probably the least likely personal branding and LinkedIn strategist you would ever meet. If you would have told me 5 years ago that this is what I'd be doing, I would have said you were crazy.
Right.
I had that very traditional corporate career in the fashion industry. It's what I wanted to do since high school. I was working at honestly what was my dream company, right? I was a brand vice president for Ralph Lauren. I was
Oh
there for
my
over,
gosh. Yeah,
yeah.
that is like I think pretty much every woman's dream company.
So just think about that reaction you just had, right? Think about that
Right.
reaction.
Yeah.
I was there for over 11 years. I figured that was pretty much where I was going to retire.
Right.
And then 2020 happens, right?
2020.
So
Yeah.
it's the pandemic, it's COVID. I'm living here in New York City, which I know that everyone's COVID experience was painful. New York City was its own very special brand of painful. Um, and I lost my job, right?
Yeah.
And think about that reaction you just had to Ralph Lauren. That was the reaction I always got, right? I felt very special. I felt very glamorous, very interesting. That was part of my own brand. In fact, it was
Right.
too much of my own brand. And when that was taken away from me, I felt like I didn't know who I was or that I didn't have anything of value to offer in a
Wow.
conversation, in a social media post, which I made my very first one in 2020, right?
Right. Right.
And so I had joined LinkedIn in 2008. I went back and looked. I said, when did I join this platform? But I basically did nothing until 2020 because I realized that I was going to need another job. And the way I had always gotten another opportunity was not going to work for me this time, right? Because the whole industry was in turmoil.
Everything changed.
Everything was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And LinkedIn, I say this all the time. LinkedIn changed my life because LinkedIn gave me a voice back. People started to respond to the things that I was sharing. They were having conversations with me. They found my insights interesting. And that was a real mindset shift for me, right?
Yeah.
I started to realize that way too much of my own self identity and self worth had been tied up in who I worked for and what my title
Oh
was.
yeah. For sure.
And that's why personal branding is important, right? And people started to ask me to help them when they saw what I was doing on LinkedIn, which was super interesting to me.
So were
And
these people that you had worked with previously
no, not
or just,
necessarily.
oh, okay.
In very few cases. I mean, I'm
Or
possibly
just
some of
like
them.
people you had met that suddenly wanted your advice?
Exactly. People who
Okay.
were part of now my LinkedIn community.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a literal way. I mean that just in the broader sense of people that I interacted with on LinkedIn. And they started to say, hey, you get really great engagement on your posts. You get a lot of attention on LinkedIn. How can I do that too? Can you help me? And that's really how the business started. And I started to realize that I really enjoyed that work, right? Because I had also started my own business consulting in the fashion space because that's what I knew.
Yeah.
But this work really started to bring me joy. It made me happy. I was constantly meeting interesting people and getting a lot of positive reinforcement, right? When you help somebody achieve their goals, it's like a real dopamine hit for you
Oh
too,
my gosh. Yes.
right?
It just, yes.
You know that in the work that
Oh
you
yeah.
do,
hmm
right? That
hmm
happens all the time. And so that's kind of how it all came about.
Wow. Huh. Very interesting. Yeah. And when you're saying like Ralph Lauren was you and your identity. I mean, I have felt that way. Excuse me. And I've tried to, in fact, I've made a very concerted effort to separate a little bit, not separate, but have other things besides like my job and what I do, and because it's easy to get swallowed up in that, and think that all we are is our job title, or where we work. Um, yeah. So I was
It
thinking, but Ralph Lauren, oh, you must have gotten samples and you must have got so many.
I did. I mean, I got
Oh,
amazing things, and that was almost a little bit part of the problem, right? I opened my closet and I said, "Oh my God, everything in here is
yeah, is
Frau,"
amazing. Yeah,
right? It
yeah, yeah.
is amazing, but it wasn't my identity
Fed the
anymore,
problem, right? And it really
right?
fed into all of that.
100%.
Ah, okay. So, how do you define brand? And how is it different from reputation?
It's not wholly different. They're very much intertwined, right? To me, your personal brand, especially as it applies to LinkedIn, it is your digital reputation, right? It precedes you before you show up. So when you meet people, they already have a story in their heads of who you are, what you do, who you serve, what your values are. And it's really important that those two things are aligned, right? I think we've all had that experience of meeting someone for the first time in person and thinking, oh my goodness, you are not at all like what I expected, right? That's the
Right.
worst thing that can happen. Well, actually, there's two really bad things that can happen. That's one of them. And the other one is just being invisible,
Yeah,
right?
for
And
sure.
so not taking control of your narrative and your story, because then people either don't know you exist or they make up something in their heads about you that isn't correct because they don't know what else to use. They don't have enough reference and data points. Right? So to me, it's really about taking control of how you show up so that when
Yeah.
people meet you, whether it's at a job interview or it's at a networking event or it's on a podcast or it's at an in-person, gathering, you're what people expect. And those two identities are the same.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Something I wanted to ask, something that you just said, when people who don't when they don't go into their brand, or they're not, they're in the shadows more, is it because, they're just more introverted, they just really don't care to stand out, or is it truly because they just really don't know their brand and they really don't know? Honestly, okay, for years, I was telling Summer this, I didn't really know what my brand was. I was an executive resume writer, and it took a long time for me to really narrow it down or figure out, and I'm in the careers industry, so I should know. But really, am I a generalist? Am I just an executive? What do we do? What do we offer? And so it did take a lot of it was a little journey for me to realize, okay, this is who I am. This is what my company specializes in. But it is, but for a long time, I kind of laid low. I was kind of just really, like you were just saying, not, um, I don't know, not promoting myself or my brand, probably because I wasn't really sure. So I'm sure maybe that's how a lot of other people feel too, you know?
I think that's definitely the issue in some cases, right? Some people just don't really haven't done this work, right? They haven't
Yeah.
really sat down and
And
given
thought about it.
thought to,
Hmm.
what are my lived experiences?
Yeah.
What are my values? What gets
Yeah.
me really fired up, good and
Yeah.
bad, right?
Yeah.
What are things happening in my industry or in my world that could really benefit somebody else if I shared them, right? These are all the
Yeah.
things that go into your brand. I think also in some cases, people are just scared, right? They're scared. We all have that inner critic,
Oh
that
yeah.
inner self-doubt, right? There's always that
Right.
little voice
Just
that
lives there.
says,
Just lives there. Just
yep,
takes residence in your head. Yep.
rent free all the time.
Rent free all the time. Just lives there.
And too many of us listen to that voice, right? That it's
Right.
safer to be under the radar, that it's safer
Hmm.
not to be seen. And that was me for a very long time. I never wanted to be visible on social media. When I first joined LinkedIn, I didn't even have a profile picture because, ew, why would I want my picture on the
It was
internet?
very scary. Same.
Right?
I did, but I had an old picture because I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know, I don't know, but
But
Yeah.
that voice doesn't serve us, right? That
No,
voice
it
doesn't
does
serve
not.
us. We want to think that it's keeping us safe, but it's actually just keeping us small. And that visibility is what opens doors for you, right? I tell people all the time, all of the things that have happened to me in the last few years have happened because I didn't listen to that voice and I showed up and I put myself out there. And
Right.
I've met incredible people, people who are going to be my lifelong friends. I've met wonderful people that I've collaborated with. I wrote a book with someone last year because
That's
we connected
amazing.
on LinkedIn, right? All
Yeah.
of these things happen when you show up and you put yourself
Right.
out there.
So you often say, you are the CEO of you. So what does that, break down what that really means for professionals?
Yeah, and I forget whose line that is. It is it
It's a
or
great
some
line.
yeah,
Yeah.
it or some version of it is from a book somewhere. So I don't want to claim credit for it, but it is absolutely true, right? Especially if we're a business owner, right? But
Right.
even if we're not, I think it's easier for people to get their heads around that if you are an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, you have your own business.
Right.
But even if you're in corporate, you are still in charge of your own brand.
Right.
And don't make the mistake that I did, right? Don't just assume that you're going to be with an organization for the rest of your career. We don't control that.
Yeah. And
You know,
that's not a thing anymore. It's really not. Yeah.
unfortunately, that is very true, right?
Hmm.
For good reasons and for bad reasons.
Hmm.
Organizations don't have the same loyalty to employees that they once did, right? I've
No.
written
Yeah.
tons of posts about this, that the days of retiring with a party, a gold watch, and a pension
I
are
was just, yeah.
long gone.
And a special pen. Yeah.
And oh yes, and the special pad, which I would lose
Yeah.
in 5 minutes.
Right.
Those days are over, right? And
Yeah.
so you have to treat yourself, your brand as a business, even if you're in corporate, because you have to manage that brand, that reputation. It's going to follow you from role to role and from job to job, and it's going to open those doors for you. So
Yeah.
always treat your brand like a business, and you have to be
Hmm.
on top of it.
Oh, I love that. Treating your brand like a business because it is. It is. I always tell clients, you are the. You need to sell yourself.
Yes.
Um, so, what are the three biggest mistakes people make when trying to define their personal brand?
Oh, that's a great question. So I think the biggest mistake is just not doing it, right? That
Right.
is the biggest mistake. Just
Head
kind
in
of,
the sand, ignoring it. Just, yeah. Yeah.
yep, having a very outdated, bare bones profile, something that doesn't give any visibility into your personality,
Yeah.
into what people should expect when they meet you, into what your values are, right? So that's a
Right.
big mistake. Another big mistake is trying to be someone that you're not, right? And so I do see this sometimes where they see something that works for someone else.
Yeah.
And so they think, oh, I'm going to do that too. But if it's not true to who you are, and listen, I know authenticity is a word that people kind of roll their eyes and twitch now because it's so overused, but it's overused for a reason, right?
Right.
Trying to pretend to be someone that you're not is exhausting. You can
It
never
is
step out of that
exhausting.
role,
I know.
right?
It is. Yes. So true. Hmm.
Once you put that out there, you're stuck with it. And I'd say the third mistake I see people making is being overly controversial for controversy's sake, right? I'm not
Right. Or
saying
for any PR is good PR or whatever that I know. I always think, but that's not always true because
it's
now you look
not.
awful. Yeah.
It's not always true.
It's not always true. Yeah.
LinkedIn in particular is really a platform of collaboration. It's a little bit more of a professional, polite platform, right? And I think polite discourse is fantastic. I think we
Right.
should be able to have conversations on different sides of issues. I see a lot of conversations around different sides of issues on job search. I see a lot
Right.
of conversations, even differing sides of branding, right?
Right.
There's
Yeah.
always room for
And
dialogue, but
resume writing and yeah, all of it. Yeah, for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Every
Hmm.
issue has two sides, but sometimes I see people who just seem to want to be polarizing for the sake of getting attention.
Yeah.
And
Oh, me too.
I just don't love
Do you
that.
just cringe? Do you just want to send them a private message and say, stop, stop?
Yeah, yes, because, so it's interesting. The right the right brand will attract the people that you want to attract. And it is going to repel a little bit the people who aren't right for you, but it shouldn't be such a blatant turn off, right? It should more just be like, oh, that's not for me. It shouldn't be a polarizing, overly negative experience.
Yeah.
There's a line, right? And some
Yeah.
people I think really just, they like that attention. They want to
I
be that way.
know. I know. I know. I know. I mean, we've all seen it on there, and I'm just like, oh boy. I don't know. I go back and forth on that. I am a very private, like low key person. So for
Yes.
me, it's like totally, I would never do it. But yeah, some people seem like they're a natural at it and it doesn't mind. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't
Yes.
bother them at all. They dive into that and yeah.
Yep.
So for someone who's never even thought about their brand before, I mean, what's the very first step they should take?
Figure out what you want to achieve, right? Are you looking for a new job? Are you looking for clients? Do you want to build your network, build your community? Figure out what your main goal is, right? And you might have more than one, but what's the main goal?
Right.
And then really, sit and think about what are the things that matter to you?
Hmm.
What are your core values, right? What are your non-negotiables? How has the lived experience that you've had prepared you for whatever this goal is, right? Maybe it's for your work experience, for finding a new job.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the things that you've done that make you a subject matter expert, that now you have this business and you're looking for clients. What are the things that you really want people to know about you? The things that you want to share with others? And a big one is, how do you want people to experience you, right? Do you want them to think of you as a subject matter expert? Do you want them to think of you, I'm going to use another term that everybody rolls their eyes at, but do you want
Yeah.
to be known as a thought leader, right? Do you
Right.
want people
Right.
to view you with that lens? Do you want to be a mentor, a coach?
Hmm.
There's all different ways that you can show up for your audience. And what is the one that resonates most with you and your brand?
Oh, I love that. I love that. And that really helps you narrow down your focus or, of what you want, how you want to be known, especially for an entrepreneur.
Yes.
So in your view, so let's move over to LinkedIn. Let's talk about LinkedIn for a little bit. So in your view, I mean, what makes a LinkedIn profile magnetic versus like forgettable? I mean, it kind of sounds the same, I would think, as just maybe not posting or, I mean, what do you think?
Absolutely. So there's lots and lots of different pieces of the profile. So if I'm just going to start from the top, your profile photo. This is a big one.
Yes, it's
I'm not,
huge. Oh,
it really is. I'm not going to tell you don't use AI if you want to use AI, but if you're going to use AI, please don't have it look like an
someone
AI
else.
version of you from 30
Yeah,
years ago, right? Where
yeah, yeah.
you're 20 years
Yes,
younger, 50
yes,
pounds thinner, or 50 pounds
yes.
heavier. Make it be a photo that still looks like you. I have had this experience where somebody uses an AI photo and then you meet them and you do not recognize them,
Oh,
right?
yeah. I mean, not even AI. I know personally people in my industry that I've met in person and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I would never have spotted them out in a crowd. I wouldn't have spotted them in five people." I mean, a crowd of five people versus,
Definitely.
and you know what? I mean, on that note, when you said 50 pounds or whatever, and aging and wrinkles,
Yes.
I made a promise to myself. I'm like, I'm going to do this every year. Even if I do use an AI and say I don't go to a professional one, like get it professionally done every year because that gets costly. But even if I just, use some of my photos and then put it through an AI, whatever, photo maker, just so it looks professional. But I thought I need to do it and keep it updated every year because,
Yes.
I was so startled a couple of times when I met people in person and I was like, oh, well,
Yes.
how do you stop that look on your face when you're like, yeah,
Yeah, no, it
yeah,
is absolutely how this past year I had professional headshots done. I'm super happy with how they came out. And she was great because, yeah, listen, I have wrinkles and lines on my face and I don't love them.
same girl. I know.
Yeah, I wanted her to get rid of
Same.
some of them. And she was like, I think you should keep these, it looks like you. And I was like, okay.
I
And
was just gonna say I had mine done, and she said she said in the call, she said, I do not airbrush. I do not like make you look thinner. I don't get rid of your wrinkles. And I was like, "Ugh, then why am I going to you?" She came very highly recommended. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm just stuck with it. I'm stuck with how I look. But yeah. So yeah, you're right. I mean, it's like just as my kids would say, like, don't catfish, you know.
Oh
Um,
my God, I have said that. I have said that. Like, this is the LinkedIn version of catfishing, right?
yeah,
Stop.
yeah, right. It totally is. Yeah,
Totally. So the profile
yeah,
picture is a big one, right?
yeah.
Don't have it be someone's arm is around you and it's cropped out. Like,
Right. Just you. I always say like shoulders up so we can
yep,
actually see your face. Yes.
exactly, exactly. So
Hmm.
profile picture is a big one. Banner is also a big one, right? So banner is
Hmm.
that cover image that is
Yeah.
basically behind your headshot. In certain
Yeah.
fields, they're not very common, right? If you are in a very highly regulated industry or you're in academia or something like that, you very well might not have a cover image, and
Hmm.
that's okay. But for most other sectors or industries, I would really think about using that banner to stand out, especially if you're a business owner. If you're an entrepreneur,
It's like your billboard. I mean, really, it's,
it's
yeah.
absolutely your
Hmm.
billboard. And if
Hmm.
you have business premium, you have the rotating banner,
I know.
right?
I'm looking at yours right now. You know,
Yeah.
I'm watching it. I had that on mine. It had like three pictures. Yours looks so much better. Mine has so much content in there. I was like, on this podcast, and we do these things, and you know, we specialize in this. And then I was like, okay, Erin, you just gotta like cut it down to one. But yeah, yours looks great. I mean, yours is a great example of using that rotating banner to, you know, do it in a nice way.
Oh, thank you. I really like it because,
Looks
like,
good.
I'm really proud of my book, right? I wanted to have my book on my banner, but that's not my business, right? That's just
Yeah.
something I'm proud of. So being able to have a couple of different images in there, I really
It is
appreciate
fun.
it.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
I love the LinkedIn you know, the blue background that you had the one. Well, both of them are cool. The one with you standing at the LinkedIn headquarters is where you're at. And then the other one with like the cool LinkedIn, you know, looks like
Yeah,
a,
that's also at LinkedIn
oh, is
headquarters.
it?
Yes,
Oh,
that's
that's
outside
cool.
one of their
Yeah.
conference rooms. It's a fun mural. Yeah, you have to
It's
kind of
very
look for a
cool.
minute
Yeah.
and realize what it
Yeah.
says. Yeah.
Anybody listening, go check out Melissa's. I know we're going to
Look
give
at
you
my
all that
banner.
information later, but check it out anyways. Just look at her banner because it's very cool. Yeah.
Thank you. So
Okay.
funny.
So talked about the banner.
Yep. So,
What do you think? Oh, okay. Sorry.
no, go
Another
ahead. Go
couple
ahead.
more
Go
LinkedIn.
ahead. No.
What do you think is the most underrated section of the LinkedIn profile that people neglect?
Featured section. A lot of people don't
Okay.
even have one, or they don't update it frequently,
Yeah.
or they just pin, a post that got a lot of engagement.
Yeah.
And listen, that's fine. That's nice. But you want to use your featured section to drive people to some sort of action, ideally.
Yeah. Yeah.
So whether that's your newsletter, your podcast, your book, a
Hmm.
webinar that you're doing,
Awards, any, you know, a project you've done,
and
a portfolio. Yeah.
you want to really use that section to drive people there, right? So
Yeah.
it's great that that post got a ton of engagement, but showing that to people doesn't really do a lot for you.
Hmm.
So I would say the featured section for sure. And a lot of people don't even have one. And
Hmm.
then the other thing I would say people tend to miss
Oh, wait, do you mean they don't have one? It's because they don't use it or because LinkedIn didn't roll it out to them?
no, because they don't know it's there. They don't know it's there. They
Oh,
don't
right,
use
right,
it.
right.
They never
Yeah,
added
that's true.
one. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Or they just go, I don't even know what this is. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I
Exactly.
always, yeah, I love that section. You know, it's funny because I did have a post. This was a few years ago. I had a couple posts up that had like close to 1 million, you know, impressions or whatever, views, and I had a couple of them. So I was like, ooh, this is pretty cool. But then I took them down because I was like you said, it doesn't. It's cool,
Yeah.
but it doesn't. I don't know if it, you know, it doesn't let them know what I do or how we can help them. You know, so
Exactly. I always like the feature to have an end result, right? Some call to action in it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, okay. So if someone has 15 minutes a day, I always tell them
Mhm.
10 minutes, 2 to 3 days a week is all you need to do. But
Yep.
how should they spend it on LinkedIn for like maximum impact? What do you think?
Comments.
Yep,
comment on other
girl.
people's
A
posts.
good comment, not thanks or great.
It has to be a real meaningful
Yes.
comment, right? So
Yes.
I quote this pretty much anytime I speak on LinkedIn. If anyone's ever heard me speak or listened to me live on LinkedIn, I think I say this almost every single time. It's probably been close to 2.5 years now ago that I attended a webinar that was a conversation with Dan Roth. Dan Roth, the editor in chief and
Oh, right,
VP
right.
of product of LinkedIn,
Yeah.
right? And he said something that I immediately scribbled it down, and it was content is king, but comments are the keys to the kingdom.
Ooh,
And I was
that's
like,
good.
huh, right? Very
Uh-huh.
catchy. He's right.
Hmm.
Comments are really where the conversations happen. It's where all the
Yep.
magic happens. It's where you can start having discussions with individual people. You can also get noticed in a way that feels a little bit less scary, right? Because it's not just
Right.
your piece of
It's not
content.
you and your, yes, but you're having a nice, thoughtful comment. And too, I always tell clients it's like a not a like a pat, but it's a compliment to them. It's a compliment,
A
it's such
thousand
a
percent.
win-win because they're happy somebody's compliment or somebody's commented. And yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. They're happy that you're commenting. You're happy that you're getting some visibility. Also, now that LinkedIn has started to show you impressions on your own comments,
Yes.
I've had comments that have more impressions than some of my posts.
Me too.
So
Me too. And
it's,
then I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, yeah.
yep.
I love that. That's been a pretty cool feature. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I love commenting and especially a thoughtful comment. And didn't it used to be like it used to be 5 words, then it switched to 12 words or more is what LinkedIn considers a thoughtful comment. Is that what it is? Is it 12 words?
I don't even know. I don't know if there's a word number. I do remember like 10 or 12 being kind of bandied
The
about.
goal. Yeah.
But just make it meaningful, right? To your point, don't say like great post or thanks for sharing.
Yeah, or yeah.
Add
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
value
Make
to
it
the
meaningful. Yeah.
conversation. Ask a question,
Yeah.
right? If you ask a question, hopefully the person is going to respond back with an answer. And then that's how
Yeah.
that dialogue starts.
Yeah. Well, my next question we just answered. What's your advice for someone who's terrified of posting on LinkedIn but
Oh,
knows they need visibility? Well, yeah, comment. There you
still
go.
commenting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still
Yeah, yeah.
commenting, but also, so I'll give you another one. Attend a LinkedIn Live, right? There are LinkedIn Lives happening all the time. And that's
Hmm.
another win-win, right? The person hosting the LinkedIn Live is going to be happy that you showed up.
Right.
You can comment both before the event and during the event. So you're still getting that comment thing going.
Oh,
And
okay.
then
Right.
there's a
That's true.
then there's a networking tab on those event posts.
Yeah.
And that networking tab lets you see everybody who RSVP'd for the event or engaged with it in some way. And then there's people there that you can start having conversations with, connecting with.
That's cool.
It's a really good way to increase your visibility without necessarily making a post.
Yeah, I love that. I love the networking tab. I forget about that feature and I never use it, but it's a good one. It
Yeah.
really is. And something I wanted to touch with you on because I have college students, children
So do I.
that yeah, and I've been saying my younger one had to do it for high school. Had to set it up, and my older one, I said, you need to start. So
Yep.
tell me your thoughts on this. I said, you need to start working this now. You
Yep.
need to create this, start reaching out, start networking. You don't want to because everybody hears, oh yeah, have a LinkedIn profile when they're done with college, when they're job searching, but that does you no good when you don't have a network and you haven't built any relationships.
Yep.
So, I mean, do you agree? Like like I've been telling my kids, one has, the other one isn't really listening and keeps telling me he will, but
That attitude's not
and
bad.
one is listening. I don't know. I'm just like, come on. I always say, do it now. And like I tell clients, build that now so
Yep.
that when you do need it, it's there.
I could not agree more. So, what do we always say when we're talking about job search and network? Build your network before you need it, right?
Before you need it.
Same thing
Yes.
with college students. I would say, especially for college students, right? Because our
Yes.
kids are graduating into the most interesting times,
I
right?
know. I
AI
know.
is disrupting everything.
Everything.
The job
Yeah.
market is super strange right now. So anything that high school and college kids can do to start building that network, to start having a presence, to start showcasing where did you go to school? What were the activities that you went to, right? Your
Yeah.
college alumni association is an immediate treasure trove of people that you can network with, right? A lot of these
Right.
things happen
Right.
on LinkedIn. So, what activities were you part of? Were you part of a, sorority or fraternity? Those are natural networking opportunities.
Right.
Did you
Right.
have an internship over the summer? Those are outstanding networking opportunities. Connect with the people that were at your summer job, at your
Right.
internship, right? Connect with classmates and alums. Start build those relationships now
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
when you need them, you will want to have them established already.
Yep, absolutely, girly. I 100% agree. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so back to the branding part of it. How, um, I was going to say, how do you help clients sort of uncover their signature story
Yeah.
that makes their brand memorable? I mean, so how do you help them find that?
Yeah.
Because they'll also use their brand in LinkedIn. So, but,
1,000%.
right. So how do you, yeah, go ahead.
It's mostly through conversation, right?
Oh, okay.
So, like my signature package, so to speak, it all starts out with a conversation.
Yeah.
Right? I ask questions, we have a dialogue. I take furious notes. Thank goodness for, transcripts now, so
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
have to get
Yeah.
everything down, but I still
Yeah.
want to, right? Because
Yeah.
I know the things that when they say it and it really resonates with me, I want to make sure, that I've noted that down.
Yeah.
It's all about conversation. So I recently was working with a client
I was
and
just going to say, can you share an example of like a client transformation once they've shifted their
yes,
brand or once they've
yes.
clarified their brand? Yeah.
So it was very funny. She came to me saying, I have no idea what my brand is. I'm so not clear what message I'm trying to get out there. I'm not clear myself. And what was interesting was I would agree when I looked at her LinkedIn profile, I didn't think it was very clear. When she was talking to me, she was crystal clear.
Yeah. Huh.
So it was just helping her to get what was in her heart and in her head onto, I mean, I'm going to say paper, obviously. It's not
Paper.
paper,
Right.
it's a
Yeah.
screen, but
Yeah.
it was all there.
Hmm.
It was just interesting to me that she could articulate it in a conversation, but not necessarily in words.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Interesting.
it's very clear to me what
Hmm.
it is that you do and what it is that you offer to people and why what you offer is valuable to people, right?
Yeah.
Because what she was offering is truly something that was going to be transformative for her clients. She just had to make people see what it was.
Did she finally see? I mean, did she have that aha moment?
Yes.
Oh,
So
good.
what happens in those calls is I will then, send back a draft of
Yeah.
here's how I would position your about section and headline. Let's workshop it together. And she was like, "Oh, this makes sense."
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
her own words and it was all the things that
Right.
she was saying.
And I think we just get tripped up in our own stuff. So it is
We
good to
do.
have somebody else, show you and say, yeah.
So funny thing, when I first started doing this work, a lot of my clients were marketers and
Oh,
they
interesting.
all said the exact same thing. They all said, I can market anything, but I can't market myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it.
And so I think you really, you said it, right? We get so in our own heads and stuck in our own thought loops that we can't see what others can say.
Right. So true. So true. Yeah. And I love, I mean, we offer coaching and LinkedIn coaching but it is nice because, and they say, I never really thought of that, or I always knew this, and this, but I never really thought it is just having anybody that you can talk to that,
Yeah.
even if they know you or maybe not know you, it's just a different point of view and different options. So
Yeah.
I totally agree. Totally agree. So let me ask you this. So what is one branding trend that professionals, execs, entrepreneurs, everybody, should embrace in 2025 here at the last quarter of 2025 or the tail end, and what should they ignore?
So I think it's really important to think about positioning yourself as that thought leader, right? And like I said, I know that's a really, oh gosh, thought leader, but that's what the market is looking for, right? And whether you're a founder, whether you're an executive, whether you're in job search, whether you're an entrepreneur, you have to let people know what you know. People want to see
Right.
you as that subject matter expert. And I think
Yeah.
that that is a
Agree.
real trend that I'm seeing where executives, more senior corporate leaders are understanding the value of this, right? Another trend I would say I'm seeing is realizing that, okay, so my earliest days were in the fashion industry, were actually in retail.
Mm-hmm.
Branding is an omni-channel experience, right? You have to show up consistently everywhere, wherever you show up, right? So
Yeah.
whether that's LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, your website, your blog, your
Right.
newsletter, make sure you're consistent, right? If you have one voice over here and another voice over there, that's very confusing and that destroys credibility and trust.
Yeah.
What's trend they should ignore? That's a really, really good question. So I'll say something really controversial
Sure.
to me. It's not
Bring it.
really.
I love it.
It's
Yeah.
not really. There's a huge push for video on LinkedIn,
Right.
right? There's a video only feed
There is.
on
And
mobile.
I'm kind of like, oh, that's so much work. It is so much work, I think. I mean, for me, but
It is for me too. It's not my cup of tea. It's not my favorite thing. I don't love the way I look on camera. I don't love the way
same.
I.
And I don't, honestly, I don't watch a lot of video. I am more of a word person. I really am. So many people, and it's just so long. And I'm like, okay, I just want to scroll through. I can read in 2 seconds. I mean, sorry to, to take over that statement, but I totally
No,
agree. Yeah.
I exactly. So my advice is if you love video and it works for you,
Hmm.
do it. If
Do
you
it.
can post a video, so here's a tip. If you can post a video that's on a trending topic for LinkedIn, do it. But don't do it just for the sake of, oh, LinkedIn likes video, I have to do video. If it's a chore, if you don't love it, if you don't feel great
Right.
about it,
Right.
you don't have to do it. Or you can do it sporadically, right? Sprinkle one in every couple of weeks or every month.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be this push for, video multiple times a week.
Right. That's really good to know. Um, and for me, I mean, okay, so I do a lot of TikToks. I have a TikTok channel for, my career stuff. And I'm used to it now. I'm used to doing video now. But let me tell you, the TikTok video and LinkedIn video are like two totally separate animals. I wouldn't probably be as relaxed as I am on TikTok as I should, as I need to be on LinkedIn. But it is a lot of editing and a lot of
Yeah.
work. And like I said, I don't know about you, but I don't necessarily watch, if it's like a 20-second clip, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I just want to get, I'm just scrolling and yeah. So I mean, I see the importance of it, but I'm with you. I mean, I don't know.
I,
Call me
I,
old school, but
I tell people if you're going to post video on LinkedIn in particular, keep it under 60 seconds because, yeah,
yeah.
nobody's going to watch that 5-minute video no matter how good it is.
Nobody. No, no, no. I know. Okay. Um, okay. I have some rapid fire questions for
Oh
you
dear. Okay.
to kind of end our really enlightening and fun conversation. So, let me see. Oh, well, I already did that one. Okay, wait. I have a bunch, so I'm just trying to go through. Okay, one word you would use to describe your personal brand.
Connector.
Oh, love it. Okay. No, we already did that one. Um, we talked about a lot of these actually. Okay.
It's been fun.
Oh, here's one. Your guilty pleasure follow on LinkedIn or any other social.
Oh, what an interesting question. Snoop Dogg.
Oh, really? On LinkedIn or just on other
On
socials?
LinkedIn. Yeah,
Is he really on LinkedIn?
he is. He is really on LinkedIn. I mean, listen, is it really him writing it? I don't know, but yes.
That's
He
awesome.
actually he actually liked one of my post ones and I was so excited I almost fell off my chair. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, right? I would have fallen off my chair. Yeah,
Yep.
I would have. Totally. I would have, yeah. Um, okay. And if you weren't building brands, what would you be doing?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I mean, I think my fashion days are kind of done, to be honest. So I think if I wasn't building brands, I would try to find a role that allowed me to be a premium brand ice cream taster.
Oh, oh my gosh, you and my husband. He is the ice cream guy. Oh, that's a great job.
If you hear of
Wow.
any openings, let me know.
I will. Okay. So, and we will, okay, and I have one more question that we ask all of our guests. Um, if you what is one thing that we don't know about you? Maybe a hobby or a passion or something like that.
Sure. So my daughter, who is in college now, she was a very avid scholastic chess player. And so I used to travel around the country with her going to tournaments, which was super fun. So I'm on the board of a very small charity. It's a 501(c)(3) called Her Move Next,
Cool.
which aims to empower girls and young women through chess competition and community. And it's something I'm really passionate about.
I
Chess is a,
love that.
yeah, thank you. It's a wonderful game. It teaches focus, concentration, good sportsmanship, all those things. I mean, my daughter would be 10 years old sitting at a board for 2 hours for a single game, right? You
Wow.
can't, you can't teach that anywhere else. So, definitely
It's
something I'm,
amazing.
I'm passionate about. Yeah.
Wow, that is very cool.
Yeah.
I think you and I had talked about this. I got into um, chess through oh, not into it, but interested in it through the series, The Queen's Gambit.
Queen's Gambit.
I had
Yes.
no idea how cool it was. Like, what was I didn't really know much about it, but
Hmm.
anyways, yeah, very interesting. That is so
Yeah.
cool. Good
It's
for
a
you
super cool
guys.
game. Yeah.
And so does she still play?
I think she still plays a little bit for fun. She doesn't play competitively anymore. She was coaching for a while as part of this organization, actually. Now that she's at college, I think maybe she occasionally will go online and just play a game for fun. And she'll every once in a while send me like a funny little chess meme or something. So I think she still has a toe in it. Yeah.
Aw, I love that. Well, thank you so much. So, okay, how can people get a hold of you if they want coaching, if they want to work with you? The what are the best ways to get in touch with you?
Oh, thank you. So always LinkedIn. You can always find me there. Also my website, which is my full name. It's melissabethcohen.com.
Yay. Well, thank you so much again for chatting with me. And this was just very enlightening. And I think for people who kind of have struggled with that, this will definitely get them on the path, of
Oh,
realizing what their brand is. And yeah. All right. Well, thanks again. And I will see you on LinkedIn.
absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks again for listening to the Office Latte podcast. You can find us anywhere you listen to your podcast. You can follow the podcast on Instagram and TikTok at Executive Resumes, or subscribe to our YouTube channel, Office Latte Podcast. If you have any career questions or conversations you want us to talk about, send them to officelattepodcast@gmail.com and we'll answer them in an upcoming show. Have a great week and stay caffeinated.